Okay, welcome back to our Astonishing Swordsmen and Sorcerers of Hyperborea campaign. Oh, having an error. So hopefully still streaming. We are currently in the Lemurian remnant, where the PCs are. They have successfully journeyed to the Isle of the Serpent on multiple occasions at this point. The most recent time, following a treasure map, they found the pirate captain's journal, and having a battle with a massive hydra, as well as freeing a ghost king, whose ghost who was trapped in the temple, which they then raided for all of its treasures, after being given permission by the king. So, back at Jamaquette, spending their money, partying up, getting a little more information about things they've seen, curiosities. The party has decided to head deeper into the main island, of the Lemurian remnant, towards the Zoan monastery. They know that this monk who had kind of been spearheading the pirates claimed to be, or was, a Zoan monk, and any of the monks that are in Jamaquette never heard of him, didn't know anything about it. So, knowing that there would be more adventure to get deeper in the island, and having to wait a few weeks while their ship gets fully loaded with sailors and crew, the party has headed, I guess, south into the Lemurian remnant, through the marshes that make up the area around Jamaquette and into the jungles of the larger island. So before we get too far into this, as you guys are kind of hiking through the jungle, let everybody do their character intros, and we'll kind of go from there. Nikki, tell us about your character.
I'm Panista. She's a bard. She is happy that they managed to get out of the temple or the tomb with no casualties and some treasure, which she spent on some new friends. But she made some new friends, so she can eventually maybe call in a favor for that. And she is very interested in going to the Zoan monastery and finding out more about Clang, as she's still semi-interested in revisiting the Snake Man pyramid and trying to talk to Yasizits again, but she's made some enemies there, unfortunately. So she's just excited to see what they can tell her at the monastery, and that is Panista.
Excellent. Mike, tell us about your character.
Tam is the newest addition to the party. He's Lemurian. He's quite a small fellow, but nimble and strong. He's a handy sailor. And he is having great fun on these adventures. He thinks a little bit more important of himself than what he actually is. But it seems to get him where he needs to go. He's a thief and a sailor, so to him that makes him a pirate, even though he's very good. I think the only people pirating him are his cousins, who claim that he is the pirate king and extort money from him, so to upkeep their own boats. So he has been spending the last couple of weeks trying to get the new boat refitted and get the crew all together. And he's excited because he sees these people as genuine heroes, particularly after being on ship and hearing about this Hydra. And that's Tam.
Excellent. Crystal, tell us about your character.
I'm playing Sorka, who is, as she has been spending a few days out in the jungle with Mother Nature opening up the secrets to her, teaching her new spells. She tells the party all about the giant talking slug that taught her how to see magic, and the antelope which came to her and stood and had a tea party with her and taught her the ways of speaking with animals. Um, and yeah, she then came back into town after going through those things, and she basically started trying to do cures and stuff around the town to make herself helpful. And now that they are out in these jungles, she's very glad that she spent some money getting a custom outfit for herself. So all of her armor and clothes fit her really nicely, and her feet are all nice and dry in her really nice boots.
Awesome. And Tony, tell us about your character.
The warlock, known as Brighild the Imposing, has also spent some of her money on buying some different clothing for this environment. She's bought some sleeveless shirts and some knee-length pants to wear while they're on the ship and crossing the waters. She finds it interesting. She's enjoyed learning quite a bit from Tam about sailing and about ships and boats, but also there's a part of her sometimes that you'll see her standing there and lost in thought as she's kind of thinking back to the mainland, the main continent, and wishing sometimes she was back on the main part of the continent to the environments that she's more used to. But she's somewhat looking forward to going to this, knowing Panesta is hoping to find out more information of what she's looking for. But she also thinks in the back of her mind that the temple itself, going back to it or messing with it anymore, is just a dead end. But that's Brighild the Imposing.
Excellent. And last but not least, our ranger, Young. Tell us about Tulak.
All right. Tulak hails from the frigid tundra region known as the Plain of Lang. He's the Eskimo Ranger, and Tulak has experienced much loss. First, he lost his original party members to the pirates, and now he has lost his treasured memento, his Ilgak snow goggles. Nevertheless, he's managed to avenge his fellows by playing a role in wiping out the pirates. And now he has carved a new pair of goggles from a piece of local tree branch that he's picked up. So he has finally done it on his brow, and he's looking mighty happy. He's trudging through the forest, looking around for any signs of dinosaurs or any strange creatures, and he's just happy to be out along with new friends.
Excellent. So, as noted, I mean, you guys have I revealed the whole map to you guys, figuring that you had been in town long enough to get a general idea of the map. So you've got a couple of options here. You're traveling. Of course, you begin traveling by following. Let me put myself on the right spot here. By following the river, as as you would do. So you left Yamaket and you're kind of following this river. You do know that the monastery is here in these mountains. The shortest route, of course, would be straight through the hills. However, those hills are not just flat hills; they're also jungly with hills. If you stay closer to the river, you'll have less chance of getting caught and probably less chance of not getting caught, getting lost, and possibly encounter settlements if that's what you want to, if you're interested in that. But it'll take you many more days. So it kind of comes down to how you want to go. Do you want to go through this valley of Zangi, or do you want to go just the shortest possible path? Let me see if I have information about this valley for you guys. You would have got that if you had been looking. Let's see. Is the valley of Zangi?
Brighild would be suggesting to go the path of the closest to the water, maybe these villages, to see what information they could pick up, maybe from some of these villages about things or different rumors or something, is what she would suggest.
All right. Well, with no opposing views, but that's the way you'll go. Yeah. Traveling along the river, you do in fact encounter, coming through the first day, you encounter this river is not so big that, like, for instance, you couldn't bring your boat down it. It's way too shallow for that. But there are people in smaller flat bottom boats that move up and down the river for trade. And occasionally you will encounter them, pulled off to the side, eating or interacting with them. And you do find there are a number of small villages around here. You also hear a lot of local legend about the volcano, Mount Lasara, which is right here. Saying that they believe that this is basically the center of the world, where the whole world kind of came from initially. It was where the gods lived. Although those in the big cities, like Ket, don't believe in such things anymore. But the locals here still firmly believe that the mountain is the place where basically all life sprang from, and is still a place where mysteries can be learned and that kind of thing. So you hear a lot about the volcano as you get closer to it. And let's see if you encounter anything that's not people.
Let's see, Brickhill would be not being able to speak the language as well as maybe Panesta and some of the others. She would have Panesta or some of them ask them about when the last time it was active, this volcano.
Real fast, I wanted to say, like, before we set off on our journey, I've prepared a bunch of good berries. So I would give everyone on the first day a good berry to eat for food. And then I'll give everyone 2 good berries that will go bad in 7 days.
Okay, thank you.
Excellent. Actually, it is. It's somewhat active now. It does occasionally. It hasn't like exploded in a long time with massive damage, but there's what they call dry flow that comes from it, where the rock is just moving, almost always, and multiple times a year, the flow gets red hot. So it is still active, but it's kind of just like a slow dripping volcano versus a volcano.
All right. And also,
So
she would want to know: is there any do like the villagers? Do they make any kind of pilgrimage up to that mountain, like anytime or?
Oh, that's a good question. Roll d6. Let's see if they do.
That's a 5.
They believe that some people do, but not the people that you talk to. They stay away from it. For fear of the heat. But they say that there are villagers from. Well, they're not villagers. They're from some of the city folk. From Sujin, which you can also see on the map there. Some of them do make a pilgrimage there. Typically at the beginning of the year, which would actually not be that far away. So just I forgot to say. I always say, but it is the second day of the 12th month of the 9th year. And that there's 13 months in a year. So you're probably like about roughly 2 months away from the time that they would make that pilgrimage from Sujin, which is down here.
All right.
Yeah. So that's all they know about. I mean, it could be other people do, but that's all they really know. Anybody else with questions for the villagers? Or Also, you would know. I mean, I guess I'll just tell you this because you've been here for a while. Sujin is it's the second largest city. So you're staying. Jamaket is the third largest, basically. Um, the third largest of the three. So it's the smallest. Sujing is called the Jade City, and this is even though it's the second in size, it is considered to be the richest because of the jade. So there's lots of there's lots of adventurers that head that way. People that are trying to seek out old settlements and old mines because of the massive riches of jade in that general area. Not in the city, obviously, but the surrounding area has ancient temples and all this stuff. I mean, there's been jade there for generation upon generation upon generation. So you would know that is the case. Yeah.
The route that we're traveling, will we go by the volcano on our way to the Zoan Monastery or not?
You will go by a volcano, but not that one. So this is Mount Lestrar, which is the one they're talking about. But actually, the way you're going, you will pass by a smaller volcano, which is right there.
Yeah,
There's
Brickhill, she wants to she wants to tell the rest of the party she wants to take a look at it when we get there. She wants to she finds that kind of amazing to see, never seen one. So she wants to take a look at it and maybe pick up some volcanic rock or something.
That's cool. I'd be down.
Okay, yeah, for sure. Go ahead.
Yeah, I'd
Can I
love
ask
to
the
go.
villagers? Oh, sorry, Mike.
No, go ahead. I just said I'd love to go to the volcano.
Yeah, that would be really interesting for me, for Panesta.
Awesome.
But I'd like to ask the villagers just if any of them have been to the monastery recently and if there's been anything strange about it or different lately.
The villagers. No, I mean you would get the feeling, and you. I mean, you guys have now been in the Lemurian Remnant for months now. These are pretty reclusive, even though there's an order of them that stay in Yamanket, like all the religious people. They are considered pretty much. Not too many people visit the monastery. It's very reclusive. They're very militant. They're generally called upon when there are it's been a while, but if like there's a major conflict where the city states might get into conflict with each other, sometimes they're brought in as a mediator. The most villagers who know anything about them know that they might know somebody who went there, because sometimes somebody who's a bit older later in their life will go to the monastery to like finish their days trying to perfect their body, or and remove any past misdeeds from their soul or whatever. But none of them have seen anybody leaving the monastery in a long time, because doesn't happen that often.
Okay.
Aside from the monks that go back and forth to Yamankat, which they see them, of course. And nothing seems out of the ordinary.
All right. Yeah, just curious.
Is there
On
any
that note,
folklore
everybody
about the smaller volcano?
Oh
Like
yeah,
smaller gods?
Yeah, well, exactly. Well, you would
gods.
know that. I mean, generally speaking, on the Lemurian Remnant, the volcanoes are considered right, because of course Dan would know this. They're considered gateways into the other world. Any of them. The mount. I mean, even though obviously on the map it just looks like the same size. Mount Lashara is very large. The one you're going to pass by is smaller. It's not even really named, but it's considered gateways. And of course, you probably heard like folk stories of like various supernatural beings coming and going through these gateways, or people wanting to enter into the underworld. That's how you would do it through the volcano. Yeah. So this would be the closest one to you, so you would know that for sure.
Yes.
Yeah. And this one is
Perfect
not
place
active.
for us.
And this one you would know is not active at all. Like, it's definitely not active.
Yeah, every little social group that Tam gets into, he will talk up these fine people to the best they can. Just
Nice.
these almost like they're titans. These are from what he has seen, these are like little mini gods to him.
Oh, okay. Interesting.
Well, I mean, who else kills hydras?
No, it's true. So everybody who's been living, so I can't remember now what everybody was. I know that Brickhill was having trouble with the language. Podesta pretty much has it mastered. What was Sorka's situation?
Sorka did pretty well. Like, she's not as good as Benesta, but she understands it well enough.
Okay, so if you didn't like master it or whatever, basically by rolling a 1, and I don't think Tulok either, right? You just know it a little bit.
No,
you guys can all.
Tulok rolled 1, I think.
Oh, you did. Okay, so Tulok's good at mastered. So Sorka and Brickhill, you guys can roll again, to see like how much more you picked up. I mean, it can't get worse, obviously. So, but just roll another d6.
I rolled a 1.
Oh, all right.
I rolled the same thing I did last time, a 5, I think, which is bad. So
Yeah, it's bad.
Bricky's
So,
just
yeah.
not paying any attention.
Yeah. You picked
After
up
all those sailing lessons.
Yeah, she's paying more attention to the shipping than she is talking.
Yeah. So like the words that you picked up are probably all about sailing the boat and not so much just general conversation. Okay, that's good. All right, you guys are heading up. So you pass through, you're getting into now kind of closer to the mountain ranges where there's less people. As we, let's see, that would be 1, 2, 3. So you're probably like you're probably right dead center in the valley as the first day is ending. Yep.
Before, about an hour before we're gonna like stop. I mean, if we know we're gonna stop, Sorka would like to pull the party together close if they will, and she's gonna cast Pass Without Trace 15-foot radius. It lasts for an hour, and so for like the last hour of walking, basically like no one would be able to detect where they've been or that they passed through that area, as long as they stay within a 15-foot radius of her.
Nice. Okay, yeah, you definitely do that. So you do that spell, and you guys are moving up through again, staying relatively close to the river so you don't lose your way, and you're breaking into that kind of hilly area where the trees are getting a little bit shorter. They're no longer those 200-foot trees, but you're still basically in a jungle. By the way, it's been relatively warm today, but strangely, because you haven't seen much of this since you've been in the Millennium Remnant, it did not rain today. It's actually been very clear with a crisp blue sky, not a cloud in the sky. And as the day is kind of starting to wind up, which by the way, sunset is at 6:50. Was it 6:30? Read my hand right. No, 6:50. You start to see some clouds move in as you're setting up your camp. So let's see if anything happens. You're in a pretty safe area, so we'll just do a roll for overnight to see if any kind of weird animals decide to poke it and see you guys. I think Nikki's up in the top corner there. So go ahead, Nikki, and roll a d6 to see if you guys get harassed.
A 5.
Yeah, it actually passes by. This is a pretty well-traveled area. So you are not surprised, maybe, that no animal of significance bothers you. I mean, you see, obviously, there's animals everywhere, but nothing really. Everybody goes through their guard shift without really any kind of problem. No large predatory animals. Maybe you even see some of the larger dinosaurs you've seen before, but you know that they're herbivores and you don't really worry too much about them. They just kind of walk past you and they don't really pay you no mind. And the sun, breaks at about a little after 5 a.m. You get up and start packing up your camp. It's starting to rain. Just a little bit. Like it's cloudy and you're getting those like little spits of rain, but you can feel that today's going to be a very hot day. Nobody's wearing any armor besides leather armor, right? So you guys were smart enough not to do that. So it's going to be 100 degrees today. So if you're wearing heavier, if you're encumbered, it'll be a problem. Otherwise, you guys should be fine as long as you're near the river. So kind of move along up through the valley.
The next morning, I'll give everyone a good berry for a meal for that day.
Okay. You done? Sure. Did you get there?
I'm keeping up with the days, how old they are, and everything. So
No, that's fine. Yeah, I mean, nobody wants to
Yeah.
eat food.
When are you going to make fish?
Yeah,
I
it's
think fish would be good.
yeah, good fish.
yeah, but fish will not last you for an entire day.
Well, if you touch it, it will.
I do not know the spell good fish. I'll have to ask another druid about that one.
Oh,
Yeah, I'm sure. I'm
I
sure it
see.
fills you, but you're still not eating anything, so that's a little bit weird. But anyways, yeah. So you travel again throughout the day. Now you're breaking into that mountainous range. You're seeing less and less people. As you come into the mountains, of course, now you are starting to get to areas where you can see the mountains do actually break the tree lines. I mean, most of them are covered still with vegetation, but you can see tops of mountains now as you're kind of coming into it, where there's barrier of stone, um, and you can see some of those giant birds that kind of swoop down on you the one time that you scared them away. Uh, you you even see a few of those flying around this general area. They don't seem to pay you any mind. You're pretty much undercover as you're traveling through. Um, and eventually, I mean, I think based on how fast you would travel, especially because you're going along the river, you come up to between where you can see is going to be an area where it's quite shocking actually because you're kind of motor. You know, you're walking through the jungle. Basically, you can see some bare rock from mountains in front of you, and then you kind of step through this area, and the next thing you know, you're basically in what is basically a barren wasteland. Like you could just see just like black stone, just for like a mile around. And of course, leading up, you see what is kind of the short peak of the volcano. Um, you can see that there's lots of like I say, like jet black stone that's all broken up. You can see that there's here and there's like a small like plant trying to grow up through the soil, but essentially you're looking at what is pretty shocking probably to your eyes because everything you've seen has been lush greenery, and this is just like black, and very very uh, broken. The stone is all broken, and it's kind of facing in front of you.
Tulog leans down and touches the ground to observe, uh, you know, the texture and basically feel it out.
Yeah, so it's pretty strange. I mean, I don't know how if you have any experience to luck with volcanic stuff, but the stone is you can see it looks like it's been almost looks like it's been worming. You can see lots of holes in it, and if you pick up a stone, it is quite light to the touch.
Yeah, he holds it up and says, "Wonder what happened here." And he looks around, and again he touches the ground to see whether if it's warm or cold to the touch.
Well, I mean, it's cloudy, but it's 100 degrees out, so the ground's warm because the sun's on it, but it's not hot like that would hurt your feet. So it's not
Yeah.
warmer than you think it should be. I guess is what I'm saying for a black stone.
Yeah, he pockets that rock as a memento.
Well, I think we all want a rock. I know Brickhill did. So
Yeah, did you want to try to climb up to the top and look? You want to look down and so you can see it's flat on top. Well, I mean it's hollow or whatever.
yeah, I would
But,
want to climb up. Yeah,
Yeah,
Brickhill
if
wants
you
to.
want.
Damn well.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Although this is, I mean, clearly the gods have been angry here, but this is interesting.
Okay.
Tulok brings up the rear.
Yeah, it's surprisingly slow going, mostly because the ground is pretty like there's lots of moving rock. Everywhere you step, like the rock is kind of sliding. It doesn't look like too many people pass this way. There are very large stones as well, but a lot of it is just like small stone. Maybe the size of like a little bit larger than a walnut. There's like lots of pieces of it. You can actually see what look like areas where it looks like almost the reverse of what you would normally think of what a river does. Instead of seeing like a cut in, you actually see almost like a bulge that seems to run down, almost like possibly something like a purple worm might have done in the ground. It pushes the worm up. And it's quite unusual, but it takes a decent part of the day to climb up this side of this mountainous area. There are some caves as you're kind of climbing up that seem to go in a bit. I mean, I don't know how long you want to spend looking around. Are you just trying to get to the top, or do you want to look for caves, or what's your intent here?
Do any of the caves look like there's been recent activity in and out of them, or?
No. I mean, well, roll d6.
That's a 4.
Yeah, you don't see any that look that way. I mean, you could tell that there probably are some animals like those birds that you saw earlier. You don't see any right now, but you could see areas where it looks like probably something settled down here. But you can see movement around some of the caves and some of the flat areas. But you don't really see tracks because of the nature of the stuff. So it looks like animals probably come here, but you don't see any like fire pits or any sign that looks like would be human that left any kind of marks here.
Yeah, I mean, Brickia would just keep going unless some of the others wanted to check out a specific cave or something.
While I was in the jungles, a deer taught me to speak with animals, so I could speak with some of the animals around here and see if they have seen anything interesting.
Yes, ask them where the gods are.
Well, you
They're
don't see
supposed to
any
be here. Sorry, Daniel.
No, you're fine. I don't want to interrupt your roleplay, but there's no animals right around here.
Dulog looks around for tracks. Animal tracks.
Brickia looks at the ground with all the tracks in front of him and goes, "You mean those?"
Do they
you basically
stick out?
Yeah, I mean, you can definitely see areas where animals have been. Mostly larger animals that seem to be moving through the area. You don't see anything that looks like it's human size or anything like that. The Lemurian remnant is primarily, what you've come to know as dinosaurs. There are some mammals like the monkeys, but for the most part, there's no large mammals. Like anything you're seeing that's large is going to be probably the dinosaurs. But you don't see any bones or anything either, so it doesn't look like this is like a common area where they settle in.
Looks
So you
like
don't think
everybody's
this is like
abandoned this place.
Yeah, I guess what I'm saying there, if it's not clear, is like it doesn't seem like this would be the lair of any kind of dinosaur because it's so open and it's just empty, barren rock. But they do pass through here.
Well, I want to look inside the volcano. I mean, never seen
Yes.
that before.
Okay, you want to climb to the top?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, you guys can make your way to the top. It's pretty flat, especially considering it's basically a mountain. But it's, it takes a while, but you can get up to the top of it. And when you get close to the top and you get up there, you actually do see. Of course, it's not perfectly flat. It's like there's like areas and fissures. And when you get up and you look down, you can actually see that it looks like it's hollowed out. It basically there's a drop that goes down into darkness. Because, of course, keeping in mind that the sun in Hyperborea is low in the horizon, so it's not right above, so you can't see the darkness. But you would say that it drops down a few hundred feet, anyways, at least.
Okay.
So do you imagine the gods are down there?
I was going to ask you that. This is your place after all.
Well, I would think so. I mean, if the gods are here, sure, they are here then. And he points towards the abyss.
Maybe. I've only really ever talked to a god once.
Oh, I talk to him all the time.
Oh.
Why do you want to bother the gods so much? What if you catch them in a bad mood?
Well, I don't think I'm just interested. I mean, I keep hearing about them. I have these tattoos, so I think they would want to meet with us.
Well, what kind of gods are they?
I I don't know. I've never met one up here.
Well, I hope I don't meet one of my gods. My god is that of lost travelers and the frigid wind. I
You're
don't.
not going to have that here.
Yeah, I hope to not to meet my god for at least 50 years.
Yeah, it's 100 degrees up here. Tam or Mike, roll d6 for me.
D6.
No, that's no good.
It's a 4.
Oh, nobody wants a 4. Yeah. Yeah. So you're standing up there. It's cloudy.
It's not interesting at all.
No. It's you could try to like rappel down into it or look for a cave that would get you in somehow, or use some other means to get down lower if you want to go into the volcano. I will say this: from up here, you can see pretty far. You're kind of surrounded by mountains for the most part, but you can see off to your basically the southeast that you can see that you can see the mountains break up, and then there's the hilly region. I'm sorry, that'd be the southwest. But you also do know that the monastery is basically in the mountains. So, and you see the river continue because it kind of dies out around where you're at. So you can definitely find your way to where you're trying to go from here if you got a good view. But going into the volcano would require a little bit of climbing effort or something if you want to be down there.
You said we can't like see the bottom of it, right? So we don't know how far down it goes.
That is correct.
Sorka would like to pick up one of these stones, and she will cast light upon it, and she'll toss it down so that they can follow the light and see like how far down it actually goes.
Are you going to wake up the gods for Tam?
Nice.
I mean, gods, giant ants. I've seen both.
So you do this. You light up one of these strange stones that look like they're worm eaten, and you drop it down, and it goes. It lights up an area as you go down. What you notice pretty much immediately, which I guess you could see at the top too, but is that the interior of this cone is pretty smooth. Although you can see that there's like pock marks, but it's not like jagged. There's no ledges. It looks like it's pretty sheer. Except for the fact that it's all kind of also looks kind of worm eaten, but way less so. And as you drop it down, it goes down. You kind of see more and more. Then all of a sudden, it goes out and you would judge down maybe like 150, 200 feet, and it like literally just like extinguishes.
Would I know like the kinds of things that can put my light spell away?
I don't know, would you? What kind of thing would put your lifestyle away?
I mean, I know meta, but I don't like. I was wondering if Sorka knows.
I mean, if you know the spell, you would know how to.
Two luck leans.
Yeah.
If what you're thinking is of a level that you would know, then yes.
Yeah.
Tulak leans over and says, he says, maybe it went under something. You think it fell into, some kind of watery thing?
I guess that's possible. I also know that the spell can be dispelled by certain magics.
See, the gods put it out then.
Maybe.
Yep.
Perhaps they want to sleep.
Tam's gods did not want to be awoken.
Well, no, I mean, they would probably want to sleep. That's all.
I feel like we're trespassing here. I'm getting a little nervous hanging around in this part. Look around us. It's all dark and scorched. I wouldn't want this place to explode again and have us so nearby.
Does it seem like the animals are like staying away from this place? Because you said there weren't any animals around, right?
Well, I mean, most animals aren't going to walk out into a big. You as a druid aren't going to walk out into
Yeah.
a big open area. If they can avoid it, they're jungle animals. But you did see tracks and stuff going through, so they do pass through here. But they're definitely not hanging out in the volcano. There's no food here for them.
Tam is going to squat close to the edge, and he's going to cut off a lock of his hair and then wrap it around a copper coin and just throw it into the pit and offer a small prayer of apology.
Nice. Okay. Down it goes. How about the rest of you?
What do you think? Should we let the gods sleep?
I'd say so.
Yeah, I just want to get a few of these rocks and some of the volcanic dust or whatever, just as a souvenir. I don't want to bother Tam's gods.
Yeah, there's
Perhaps,
plenty of loose rock, and like I said, it's very lightweight. And you can pick up as much as you want.
perhaps,
But, one day you must tell me the story of your gods and offerings and such. I collect stories. I'd love to hear them.
So, well, it's just simple. I want him to know that I respect him. And the one thing I can give of myself is my hair. And I have some money. So I just offer it to him. Who knows? Tlaknaka could be down there.
Interesting insight. Sorka's going to repeat the process that Tam did in respect to his god.
Okay. Nice.
Tulak stays away from the opening and he mumbles a prayer to his god, the god of the frigid wind. And he says, God of the frigid wind, protect me from this heat. Let it not swallow me with anger. And he takes a few steps backwards.
All right, yeah. So you guys finish that up, and Brighild, you're able to collect as much, stone as you'd like. It's pretty much everywhere, in various sizes, and you circle around the top, basically the crater that's up there, and start heading back down towards, I guess, the water, which would be the smartest way to get to where you're going. The stone is crunching under your feet as you walk, and as the sun is kind of thankfully blocked by the fact that it's a bit cloudy. And yeah, go ahead. Go ahead, Crystal. Let's see if anything catches your eye or catch anything's eye on the walk down.
D6.
Yep.
Okay. Leave it to me. 1.
Ah. Interesting. Let's see.
7 dragons descend upon us.
Oh, wow, okay. Oh, that's interesting. Okay, good. So yeah, you guys are making your way down, kind of out in the open there, of course. And as you're walking, actually, I guess roll another d4. Right here. Let's see. Oh, you can only be surprised on a 1 right there because you got the ranger with you.
Yes.
Let's see if they're surprised. Oh, actually, I think you surprised it. Let me just make sure it doesn't have any special rules.
I rolled a 5 if I need to.
No, I rolled. It's okay.
Okay.
No special thing. So actually, you surprised it. So you're walking. Let me see how close it is to you. Yeah, it's pretty close to you. It's about 30 feet away from you. You're kind of walking along, and you see, most of this stone, this black stone, has been it's kind of matte looking. Like it's black, but it's kind of matte, And out of the corner of your eye, you kind of see, probably be most likely that Chulak would see it because he's the ranger. and also because everybody else would be surprised if he wasn't there with you. You see like what seems to be shiny black. So you maybe stop and look for a second, and when you do, you see that there's a very, very large snake, which kind of like it's just kind of moving along, and it doesn't actually see you. It's like you see that it's gonna see you in a minute when like its head is behind a big stone. Um, so you know that in like the next few seconds it's gonna see you, but you guys have surprise rounds, so you can do something for one round if you want to. It's about 30 feet away. Um, Giant snake. It's approximately 30 feet long. Vanessa, what do you want to do with this giant snake? If anything.
I want to say I kind of want to run away from it.
How about Tam?
Fire snakes.
I'm going away too.
Shorka?
Cast a spell.
Okay, I'm gonna send a spell. Okay, Regild?
Yeah, she suggests leaving it alone and them going on their own way. So she's following Panester and Tam, leaving the area.
All right, so you quickly move as far away from as possible. And Tuluk?
Tulak knocks 2 arrows, but he runs away with them. But he makes sure that he's ready to attack should it follow them and try and attack next round.
Okay, so you also run. Yeah, I mean the having the bow is unless you want to stop to do that. All right. Well, Chris, you're the only one that's actually doing anything. So go ahead and roll initiative against the snake. Well, actually, you don't have to. No, it's a spell. You don't have to do anything. You have a surprise round. What spell are you casting?
Befriend animal. Makes a saving throw, and as long as it's not aggressive, it's just a regular saving throw versus sorcery.
Okay. Let's roll first. 18. What's its spell save? 15. Okay, yeah, I made it. Okay. Yeah. So you cast this magic as the rest of the party is moving away, and it seems to not affect the snake as it brings it rears its head up and looks at you. It is. It doesn't look aggressive though, but you know your magic didn't work on it. It's just kind of looking at you as you hear crunching sounds as the rest of the party's kind of moving away.
All right. Well, darn, I'm not going to get a snake friend. Sorka will begin to follow the party.
Okay. Yeah, it pops back down on the ground and it continues moving in the direction that it was going. As you guys make your way further through out of the area of the volcano. Everybody roll a d6 for me. On the other side of it.
D6.
Yeah, just roll a d6. Let's see if anybody stumbles by anything exciting. It's not a monster.
I had a 5.
I rolled a 1.
Fantastic. Let's see. And you just roll a 6, Mike? Okay.
Yeah, Tam rolled a 6. Or I rolled a 6.
Okay. Okay, perfect. So actually, Tam, you notice as you guys are kind of moving down that now you're on the other side of the mountain, and then of course the sun in Hyperborea is low in the sky. You can see that the sun is actually kind of pouring into one of these smaller caves that's on the side of the mountain, and as you're kind of looking at it, kind of eyeballing it, you can see this cave is unlike the other ones that you've seen. This one seems to go in pretty far. Like you can actually see that the light goes in 30, 40, 50 feet into this cave before it seems to drop off, whether it turns or goes down or whatever. It's hard to say. Unlike all the other smaller caves that you've seen along the side, this one seems pretty big, or deep, I should say. And it's big enough that you could walk into it. It's not huge, but it's definitely.
Tam will point it out. He said maybe that is the way that we're supposed to go to meet the gods.
Yes, it would seem that the gods have shown this to you. Maybe the offering you gave.
Yeah. This would be the best way to, I mean, you wouldn't want to go through someone's roof, would you? I mean, maybe that's what they want. This is the gate to go in.
Well, lead on. We'll see where it goes.
because this is exciting. Right? Is anybody else feeling excited?
I'm always excited.
I like these. Well, it's exciting. Nice. All right. All right. Cool. Let me see. So yeah, you approach this cave. It is essentially, it's like a fissure in the side of the volcano. So it's not like a cave. It's more like a crack that's big enough for you to walk through, and it definitely goes in deep. You can see that there's as you get closer to it, you actually see that, because there's lots of the small stone everywhere. There's kind of an area. It's not a perfect circle or a semicircle as it would be, but it's pretty close to it, of an area where it seems like at least the bigger of the stones have been moved away. So it's not bare ground per se, but it looks like it's almost been swept of all the small stone. It's about maybe 15 feet. So you're kind of approaching this thing and you see this semicircle of clear area in front of it.
Yeah, there's a stone circle in here. I mean, it's been cleaned. Clearly, this is the entryway.
Who's got the map at this point?
The map?
Do we have a map of where we're going? Sort of.
No, I mean, I'm just assuming that you could have made a map if you wanted to. Sure. You mean the
Okay.
the large map?
Yeah, I mean, to map or
Yeah.
general direction to Zoan Monastery.
Oh yeah. Well, you would know. I mean, you would know because you were just standing up there. And I mean, yeah, if you could say you could have a map. I don't have a problem with you having made a map. You would know that. Let me get to that page. Let me show you. You are basically currently you are here, right where that volcano is. You're basically in that lower corner, kind of right exactly where I'm tapping. You were heading back towards the river when you saw this. The monastery is on the other side of that mountain. So to get to the monastery, you're going to probably want to follow this river valley, and then climb back up the other side. That's the fastest way to get there. But you're I mean, at this point, you're probably going to have to camp one more night before you can make it because you spent so much of the day exploring. But yeah, you know where you are roughly. But you're not that close to it. You're miles away from it at this point. So did you want to cross through that circle and go into the fissure?
It's a stone circle that's been cleaned.
Yes.
Yeah.
Can I get around the stone circle?
Not if you want to get inside. So basically, you've got this fissure, right? That's
Yes.
let's say in the center, and then kind of in front of it, it's almost like let's call it a welcome mat.
Exactly.
Well, actually, that's not true. You are a thief. If you want to try to get around it, you could climb up the wall or something and then drop yourself into it. You could do that but it's basically the way in. You'd have to, unless you can jump 15 feet, you'd have to walk through it for most people.
I will gingerly put my foot into it.
Okay. Right foot or left foot?
Right.
Okay, perfect. Yeah, you step into it and you hear the ground crunch a little bit, as it does everywhere else. You don't feel any different.
I stick my other foot in.
Okay, now you feel like you're maybe being a little too paranoid. No, nothing.
I will walk around the circle and then go to the other side.
Yeah, you walk through a circle. So yeah, you're able to walk through it. It doesn't harm. When you get to the fissure, you can kind of see into it. Like I said, there's light coming in. Is everybody else following? Or are you guys waiting to see what your scout finds?
I'd follow him after he didn't explode into a million pieces. So sure.
So paranoid. Okay, good. I like that. That's how you stay alive. Okay, yeah. So you guys move in, and you look into this fissure, and you can see the light of the fading sun kind of shining down this hallway, and you can see that it looks like in these walls, which are actually they're smooth, almost like glass in here. But you can see it looks like someone has carved a scene into the wall. It's not quite life size, unless it's very short people that are like maybe 4 foot tall. It is essentially 5 women, kind of dancing. You can tell by the motions of them that they are dancing, and each of them is holding in their left hand a long knife, and they seem to be dancing around like in a circle, like a like how this is the way they drew it with perspective. And there are 5 of them. And of course, that's like a chunk of the wall is carved like that, and then you look past, and then you can see the hallway goes further in. And as noted, in here the walls are basically very very shiny, like almost like mirror black, but the floor is still like that dirt, the black dirt, but it's like swept like the outside. You don't see pieces of stone and stuff. It looks like clean in here.
In the picture, are they dancing around any object, or are they just dancing in circle?
It. You look around, it doesn't seem like they're dancing around an object, but then you kind of think to maybe look up, and you look further up, and it seems like they're dancing under something, and that thing is an eclipse.
Do they seem to
solar
be proportionate to Lemurian people? I mean, the way they're
They do. They're proportionate. They're just smaller. So whether maybe it just isn't drawn life size.
Well, this is exciting.
Interesting. I don't know if exciting is the word I'd use.
Well, I mean, look at. I think it's telling us to go further.
Is it?
Well, why wouldn't it be? I mean, they're welcoming us. They're dancing. This is a happy time.
I mean, they have daggers in their hands, so maybe it's some kind of sacrifice that it's depicting.
No.
Well, typically, people dancing with knives under an eclipse, it's something for sure.
Yes, but you use knives all the time.
Sorka's going to pull out her dagger of light that sheds light in a 10-foot radius so that they can get like a better look down the hall, or
Okay. Yeah, I mean, there's plenty of light going down the hallway, but you can see it's brighter now, I guess, in the direct area that you're in. And you can see that now that you're all kind of looking at this really close, you can see that definitely this was like carved in, not chiseled, but carved into the wall.
Would I have heard any stories with my folklore bard
Well, that's
skill
a good question.
about something like this?
This is another continent, so I'm gonna say that you're gonna have to roll for it.
Okay.
But being that you're a bard, will make it challenging rather. So 3 and 6.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, I rolled a 2.
Yeah. So yes, you have. You have heard of ancient, kind of ancient, long dead religions, where under the that they believed that when there was eclipses, that was the coming of a new time. So oftentimes they would make sacrifices to the gods, and under the eclipse. So I mean that's basically
Right.
specifically these women with the knives. No, but the fact that it's been drawn here would make you definitely think that this space, probably contains some kind of sacrifices or whatever, like ancient sacrifices.
Okay. I would tell Tam and Sorka.
What modern adventurers call treasure.
Exactly.
But the people of 1,000 years ago called ancient sacrifices.
I would tell the party this, what I know from various books I've read and other bards that I've talked to, stories that I've heard. This is what I know, and I would tell them everything you just said.
Maybe you should draw a depiction of this, and you could ask the monastery people about it, or we can ask people back in Yaman Ket about it. They may could enlighten more history for you.
Certainly, I will do that. Good idea, Brickhild. My girl.
Sorka has a journal. She keeps sketches in. Sorka will sketch it out.
Well, thank you. Yeah, my talents lean more toward the musical. I'm afraid it would have been a stick figure drawing for me.
So are you saying they used to kill people down here?
Well, they made sacrifices. It doesn't necessarily mean human, but it can mean that. They could have been animals, or could have, well, I don't think they were talking about a metaphorical sacrifice of goods or something like that. Given the knives, it was probably something living. But it doesn't have to be human.
But when you look how clean it is, nothing's been sacrificed in a long time. We would see it.
It looks like the floor has been swept, as if somebody has intentionally cleared the tracks.
Well,
yes, or cared for the place.
Maybe we would find somebody down further.
Perhaps this is not where they actually did the sacrifices. Perhaps someone just carved this here. You know how sometimes temples, and this could be some sort of ancient temple, have murals and pictographs and things like that on the walls. This could be this. If we continue on, we might find an actual sacrificial chamber at some point. And it's possible it's still being used, since, as you point out, it's very clean in here. So just, you know.
You were led here for a reason, Tam. You might as well continue, and we'll see what we can discover.
I think so. Since you're with me, I will do that. Since that's what you say, I will go.
Just be careful not to trip on anything or activate any traps.
No. Why would the gods trap their place?
Well, the gods might not, but whoever worships the gods,
no,
they might
this
not
is a place of the gods.
Yeah. Not everyone who worships the gods is so trusting, Tam.
I don't know. I think, and he just keeps walking forward.
Okay.
He's being a little careless, but
let's go marching order here. So Tam's going first. Who's next?
I guess Brickhill to follow behind him. Give him, his 10 or 15 feet, whatever he needs as he's looking around.
I usually go third, so I'll go after Brickhill.
We haven't been in a dungeon in a while.
Sorka will follow after Pinesta, I suppose.
Okay.
Tulak will bring up the rear, but he's also erasing tracks. He could erase up to 5 tracks right now. By the way, he's told his mercenaries to stay outside, not to follow into the place.
Okay. Yeah, they're hanging out. Yeah, I forgot about that. I was going to say you had left them back at the ship, but it's fine. You can have them with you if you want. Because since we didn't mention them this whole time. They've been starving because there's not been any good berries for them, and then they didn't get past without traced.
No, I did give them good berries.
Okay. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah. Sorry. Before we continue down the hall, Sorka will go ahead and light up a torch since it looks like we're going to explore further.
Okay. Works for me. Yeah, and probably good timing. So, Tam, you're moving down, and you actually see that, you can actually, as you're getting closer, you see that the passage is getting, it's dropping, because you can actually see the sun on the wall, everybody's shadows. You can see them moving. So you realize that it's going, like, lower into the ground, and, and you're not going to have as much daylight down there. So then you hear this kind of, like a cracking sound, and the smell of sulfur or whatever, and or oil burning, and the torch lights up, and flames flicker past you, and you can see it from. It looks like it dips down a bit. Goes down. You're traveling down maybe like 30 or so feet, and then it opens up into like a larger chamber. Again, this whole place has this really, really shiny walls, and the ground is this dirt, like this fine dirt, but it seems like it's been like swept clean. In this chamber, though, as you kind of look into it, you can see that maybe first you don't see, and you kind of get some in your face. That the whole chamber just seems to be filled with webs, like cobwebs. Like not so much you can't see through it, but there's lots of like cobwebs hanging in here. So clearly nothing very tall has passed through here in a long time. And as the torch gets closer and you can kind of see the light flickering into that room, you can see that this kind of roundish chamber, in the center of it, there's a very large skeleton of, it looks like probably like a snake or something, because it's long and you can just see the ribs or whatever the bone structure. It's kind of in the center of the space, and of course you see the skull. It looks like it's also, like, you don't notice it at first. It's hard to see at first because it looks like it's black. But as you're looking at it from maybe like 10, 15 feet away, it looks like maybe the bones had been like burnt at some point, and thus they are covered in soot. From this space, like if you were to cross the space, get across the other side to where the serpent is, you see that the path continues. So it's kind of like you're kind of moving down, and then it kind of bubbles into this room, and then it looks like the path continues after that. So
This be you think Tam or Panesta? Do you think this would be the some type of altar to, what is it, Yig?
Yig? I think because they also worship the other one,
Right.
the big one, Botsu, the sister god to Yig. It could be either one of those.
With my natural identification, can I like confirm that this is indeed like a snake that would be like around here?
You'd have to walk into the room and really check it out to do that. Sure. If you're standing, 30 feet away in the dark, just seeing a shadowy burnt skull. So if you want to walk up to it, yeah, you can definitely do that.
Yeah, Sorka will go ahead and step into the room.
Okay. All right, so you step in, you probably, the cobwebs are all in your face as you're kind of going, or you have a torch, I guess, so you can just burn through them as you're walking. Yeah, I mean, from what you can tell, it looks like it's not natural in the sense that it's giant, but it's definitely a giant python type snake. Very similar to what you just saw, except for this one, is way larger. Like probably in some 60 or so feet long, maybe, when it was obviously alive. Right now you're just seeing part of it, because the smaller parts, of it are broke away, and you can see that there's ash and stuff on the floor where this thing burnt up.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, she'll relay that information that it seems to be an actual snake, like a very large snake at one point, but snake nonetheless.
Yeah, Brighild, I can't really tell if it would have been Batsu or Yig worship. They're both very ancient, and this place is pretty ancient. I'm not sure.
Well, Talk Naka is with us because the cobwebs are here. So she's blessing us at least.
Well, I guess we'll have to explore further. You didn't see any writing or carvings on the bones, Sorka?
I didn't, did I?
No, you did not. Well, you know what? Yeah, I mean, if you're going to look for them now, I mean, you would have just seen them. But if you're going to look closely, you see that the skull itself seems to have multiple punctures in it. That maybe at first, when you first kind of saw it, just looked, it burnt, so maybe pieces fell in. But it looks very much like something punctured the skull multiple times. And those punctures are in the shape of, this is why it really stands out, is they're basically in, not a perfect circle, but they're basically round. So you've got like.
Yeah. Yeah, Sorka was just about to move to the skull to see if there were any fangs anyway. So that's probably when she sees this and like, oh, look at this. There's these weird puncture marks in the skull.
Are there 5 of them?
There are 5 of them.
Mm-hmm.
How large are they?
Not all that large.
Perhaps the women did this. They must be great heroes like you.
Or it's part of the ritual. 5 and a circle could all be. I mean, I'm sure it's all related, but
He looks around, counts himself and the rest of the group. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And he looks back at that snake and he says, oh boy.
Well, this snake is long since deceased. I don't think it'll be coming back. Did this snake have any fangs? I'm looking at the skull.
Yeah, pythons have fangs.
Okay. Sorka would like to take its fangs.
Oh, interesting. Okay, so you're gonna break the fangs off the skull?
Yes.
Okay, fair enough. You do that. They break off. I mean, they're kind of burnt up, but you break them. And when you do, you can see that the skeleton is pretty old. Actually, it breaks off fairly easily.
Okay. She will put those in a sack and put them away for later.
Okay, very nice.
you know, Panesta and Sorka both went into that temple of Yig at one point. Did we see anything like the 5 circles and stuff in that temple? I don't remember that.
No, you did not see anything like this. As a matter of fact, I mean, you would probably, now that you're seeing this, and it's a snake, of course, and it seems to be sacrificed. That doesn't line up with what you would think that worshippers of Yig would do. They venerate the snake. They wouldn't typically they make sacrifices, but they typically wouldn't sacrifice a snake, as they see snakes as holy creatures.
All right.
So
I'll let
now
Brig
that it's kind of now that it really looks like it's a sacrifice, or at least you're believing that, that would seem out of place for Yig.
Sorka would like. Oh, go ahead.
I was just gonna say I would tell Brighild that since she asked me about the Yig worshippers. Sorry, Crystal.
No, you're fine. Sorka would, since Panesta's talking about like the other temple and stuff, Sorka would like to remind Panesta of those, like the holes that they slid those keys into to open them, and she would suggest to like maybe search the room for like a hole in the wall, because they have that cylinder that they took off of what's his name.
Oh, yep, we do have Klang's cylinder. We do have that written down. Yep.
Yeah, you do. Yeah, everybody can look. I mean, if you explain to it what it looks like, everybody can do a secret door check. So everybody just roll a d6.
Hey, Daniel, you also said the hallway continues or there's a door.
Yeah.
I couldn't.
Hallway.
Hallway, okay.
Yep.
Yeah. And of course, it's dark down there now because now you're below the level where the sun reaches.
1.
Okay. Let's see what everybody got. Yeah, you guys spent some time looking around. You don't see anything that seems like it would fit that.
Not even the holes in the snake's head, right?
Definitely not those. Those look like they're made
Okay.
by knives. Like they're thin.
Nice. Okay. All right. Okay.
Yeah. Now that you're connecting that, that seems pretty.
Yeah.
Pretty clear they were made by knives. Yeah.
All right.
Tam, are you ready to continue down your hallway?
Goes, yes. I'm interested in meeting these women.
Well, they may be too much for you.
That's true. They probably might be too much for me, but I am with you. And so I know that if I am traveling with you, I am fine.
Of course.
Yeah, that's always been the case. Let's go.
Tam's going forward.
Whoever
Okay.
we find in this cavern may be the mortal enemies of the Zoan monks. It's just a hunch. And he looks back at that snake.
Excellent. Yeah, so you move deeper into this tunnel system, as it would be. And there's lots of places where the fissure kind of breaks off, but it's not really like, it's like maybe like a foot wide, and you can stick the torch down there and look, and you can see that like it doesn't go very far. So it's almost like the tunnel that you're in has lots of side paths, but none of them seem passable more than a few feet. So you're kind of more or less following the same kind of more central tube, if you will, towards the center of the volcano. And you feel like it's getting a little bit warmer. Not so much that's uncomfortable. I mean, it was 100 degrees out today, so but you can feel like maybe it's getting stuffy because the space is definitely smaller. This isn't your standard 10 by 10 D&D corridor. You're basically in these like 4.5, 5 foot wide spaces that are just maybe 6 foot tall. So you're kind of all just going to get in there and crouch down a little bit for the taller ones of you as you're moving forward. But as you're kind of coming down, you see a fissure that's maybe like a foot and a half wide. And again, you're thinking, oh, it's probably just nothing, but you stick your torch in there, and you see that it goes about 3 or 4 feet, and then it opens up into a space which you can see into. In that space, you see what appears to be 5 high backed chairs. They are in a circle, so you can kind of see some of the fronts of them, right? Because there's like 3 backs to you and 2 fronts, more or less. They're kind of far away to see what's on them, but it looks like there's, I'll say bodies. I mean, you're going to know they're not people because they're just kind of slunched over. You can see there's bodies on the 2 chairs that you that you can see the fronts of, and of course you can't see the backs of the 3 there in front.
Use
So basically, you're
your
looking to see
women,
a circle.
Tam.
Yes, I think we should be respectful. I mean, these are powerful women.
Perhaps each of them have a crown, which we could recover and be rewarded.
Well, no. I mean, if they are here, this is a place of the gods. Why would you steal from the god?
No, not to steal, but to return it to them. Well, let's go and take a look.
They're more likely to have knives, so just be careful.
Yeah, I don't imagine they're still alive.
But if they're magic, they could, well, just be careful. That's all I'm saying.
Okay, yeah. So
So-
you're gonna move through this like thin fissure to get into the space and see these women.
Yeah, Tam will, and then he'll immediately drop on all 4s.
Okay. Are you bringing a
And,
light source in? Or are you gonna bring the torch in? I
No.
know up to this point we just have one torch that Sulker's holding.
Yeah, sir.
All right.
Yes, right now I'm just going. I figure I'm entering a place of these godlike women, so
Yep.
I'm going to be respectful of that.
Okay, yeah. Yeah, you drop down onto the ground. It is you realize now that you're in here that this ground feels different. And maybe you can kind of see in the flickering torchlight is sort of kind of holding the torch near the entrance. You see that the floor in here is like the walls are in the rest of this place. Like this whole chamber seems to be mirror smooth. And of course you see the three backs of these stools in front of you. They look quite old, and they're made of wood. And I guess probably if you're on your knees on the ground and it's dark, you probably can't see the other 2 anymore because they're kind of hidden. Is there else to them?
I mean, Brighild, since she's behind Tam, she's going to wait and see what he, if he motions for them to come in yet.
Yeah.
Tam will crawl forward with his head bowed I mean, this is a holy place to him, so he's going to treat it appropriately. So he'll continue to move forward, and then as he nears the chairs, he will look up.
Okay. Yeah, you look up and you can see that, at least the two or one or however many you can see from where you're at, women that are there look to be quite dead. They're not skeletons, but they are very desiccated, and their face is really pulled up and tight, and their kind of hair is stringy and hanging down, and they're, as far as you can tell based on the stick drawings, they're kind of they seem to be the same women they're wearing the dresses, and each of them has sitting on like their lap a knife. The knives are about maybe like 12 inches long. So they probably fit what you saw in the pictures. These women are not small, so probably it wasn't drawn to life size what you saw before. They're like 5'2", 5'3", like an average woman height for a Lemurian, and they are quite dead from what you can see. With the minor flickering light that's coming through, out from the hallway. You can see their eyes are like white and their skin's all pulled back, and you can see their teeth. Yeah. Oh, and the knives are rusted.
Tam will crawl backwards and explain everything that he sees to him.
Did you not see any other way out of this room if you continue on?
Well, you want me to see if there's another place to leave? I thought, okay, I could do that.
Well, no, if you did not see one, I'm just asking if you did see one while you were in there.
Well, I was not looking for that. I was looking for these women. I was trying to be respectful of them.
Well, I agree. I have no desire to rob from them. They're venerated for some reason. It matters not to me. I just was curious if there's a way to continue on or if this is the end of it.
Tam will start crawling around the outskirts of this chamber.
Okay. Yeah, you can make a loop. You don't see any other caves coming out of this one at all. There is actually like in the circle of the women, as you kind of look that way, there is actually it looks like a pit in the ground, but you don't know how deep it is without checking it out closer. So you don't know if it's like a tunnel or if it's just a small pit. And just to clarify too, just so it's clear for Tony, this was a side path, so you could go deeper into this volcano if you want, even if you don't find a way out of this room in particular. So just
all right, yeah, I'll probably miss that.
Yeah.
There is another pit here. They sit around a pit. Sorka, do you have one of your light stones?
I'm afraid I don't, but we could light up a torch and drop it down, or I could light up another torch and we could drop this one down.
So, well, I don't think we'll be waking them up. Yeah.
Yeah, Sorka will go ahead and light up another torch, and then the first torch that she had, she'll toss down the pit.
Are you gonna walk in there in the circle of women and toss the torch in the pit?
Just pass it up.
Yes.
Oh,
Oh,
so you can
what?
just pass it up, and we'd give it to Tam if you didn't want to walk in.
Oh yeah. I mean, yeah. Whichever works.
If
And
you're
now that
going
the
in,
mouse is in the trap, just keep feeding them.
if you're going into the room, Silker, maybe you should get a good drawing of the way those women are depicted there also, that we can pass on to more of the locals.
Yeah, Sorka will hand Tam a torch, and she'll ask Pinesta if Pinesta will hold her torch while she draws the women in the circle and everything.
Sure, of course I will.
Yeah, Tam
Okay.
will move forward. And
So you're going to go into the room to draw these women, or you're standing in the hallway drawing them based on what you can see from the hallway?
Sorka will go in the room.
Okay. Fair enough. All right, yeah. So yeah, you go in the room. You see these women. They're all kind of like with their heads down and the hair stringy and the skin pulled back, as described. You can see. I mean, you just walked in, right? Like not on your knees, venerating. Right?
No. Yeah, I just
Okay.
kind of walked in.
Yeah. Yeah. So you walk in, and you can see that there's this pit. You can't tell how deep it is. It seems to be pretty deep because it's pretty black down there. And I guess you hand the torch off to Tam. And,
Yeah, I hand him one torch and I'll light up another off of it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, so you have this torch, Tam. It's starting to burn out anyways by this point.
Yeah. So I will bring it over to the pit, and I will first look down into it.
Okay. So you're gonna walk into the circle.
I don't want to wake up any god before the.
Right. So you'll have to walk if you want to look into the pit. You're gonna have to break the circle and walk in between the women.
Well, I'll crawl in between the women.
Okay. Fair enough. Yeah. You start crawling up to the edge of the pit with the torch. And Sorka's there drawing. Right, once you break the frame of the women, suddenly from the pit comes this blast of what would be, imagine like a huge bright light coming out of this hole in the ground, except it's darkness. So it blasts up through, extinguishing your torches. At that same time, you feel a pain in your side or wherever you have taken those teeth because you get bit by the python. Took its teeth. That was really good of you to take them. Oh, nice. It misses though. And the rest of you can hear like the rattling of bones from behind you, from where that python is, who doesn't currently have any teeth, which is pretty interesting because it tried to bite in a Sorka. I think it just gets one bite attack. So you feel like this. Maybe your armor or whatever protects, but you feel pressure as these teeth are like pushing into you somehow, magically. Up from the pit though, blackness comes, and you guys are basically in the dark. So let's see, what's everybody doing at this moment? We'll go down the list. Pinesta, what would you like to do in the darkness in the hallway? If it's not clear, actually, I'll do the whole thing one more time so everybody understands. So currently, a few things happening. Darkness is shot out of the pit. Everything's black in there now. So all the torches went out.
Okay.
Currently, Tam, the last you saw, was on his hands and knees, crawling into the circle of the women. Sorka's standing in the room, drawing with a torch in her hand, I guess. Oh no, you were holding the torch. So you're actually standing in the entranceway holding a torch, which goes out. I guess Brighild must be behind you then, because you guys all moved around. And you hear rattling like bones coming from, I guess people who would hear that would be Tuluk and Brighild, because you guys were in the hallway. So you probably hear it more than anything from behind you, basically. You hear this like bones rattling. Yeah. What would you like to do, Pinesta? As you stand in the darkness.
Right.
By the way, you're holding the torch. You can still feel its heat.
I can still feel its heat.
That's right, but it is absolutely black.
I'm gonna move. I'm gonna move back towards Brighild and Tuluk, out of the darkness to see if the torch will come back up.
Okay, so you're gonna start moving backwards.
Yes.
Through the right, because you're basically there with them. All right, Tam, what's your plan there on your knees in the circle?
I'm going to kowtow. I'm going to drag my forehead right across the ground and plead for mercy and apologize for intervening, and I'm going to back out of the circle, dragging my forehead across the ground.
Okay, how about Sorka?
I'm going to cast a spell.
Okay, Brighild.
She's going to yell something at both Tulok and Sorka, and then she's going to move back the way they come from to the room of the snake bones.
Okay. And Tulok, what's your plan?
Gonna knock 2 arrows, and he's gonna follow Brighild.
Okay, you're gonna have arrows in your bow as you walk through the darkness. Okay, good. That's always safe. It's like running with
Thank
scissors.
God if you hit me again.
All right, so Mike, roll initiative. Let's see, as all these things are happening. They got 2.
That's a 6.
6. All right, you guys gotta go first. All right, well, there you go. So you start to, all right, Vanessa, you start heading backwards. Let me just quickly check something. Oh, the radius of the darkness. That is a good idea. You guys and your good ideas throwing me off. All right. That's the range. What's the radius? 15 foot from its selected target point. Oh, okay. Nice. Okay, yeah. So you start to move back, and basically you get into the hallway back up like maybe 10 feet, and you pull the torch out of the darkness.
Okay.
You know, yeah. And you're so when by the time that happens, of course, Brighild and Tulok, you see light behind you because you've already started moving. I mean, it's all happening at the same time. So you start to, you're moving down the hallway towards the snake room, and you see light behind you as Vanessa steps out into the light. Well, did I do this wrong? Is movement not movement? Oh, movement's last in this one. So actually, magic should happen first. So, Sorka, go first. Everybody was moving, so I just did them first. But sorry.
Sorka knows about where the center of the circle is, right? So she's going to try to cast around that area, like she knows about how far away it was. Continuous light,
Okay.
and continuous light does cancel like darkness or continuous darkness. It says, but I mean, I don't know what's going on. So
Nice. Okay, so that actually would happen first. Well, I mean, it's all, you know, again, it's all kind of happening at the same time. So you cast this spell. The darkness is expelled. You know, and the room lights up. You see Tam sliding his face across the ground. And I guess since his head's on the ground and everybody else is out of the room, you're the only one that really sees. These women have now they turn their faces up, and their mouths are open, and they are expelling. You actually see it happening. This darkness coming out of their mouth. This darkness does not disappear by your spell, though. So something dark is coming out of their faces, basically, and you get to see it. Make a sanity check. No, just kidding. Okay, so then everybody's moving. You guys, it's not very far to the. I mean, if you're once you see light, well, are you going to stay with them, Vanessa? Keep moving with because of course you see the room light up again. I'm only asking because otherwise Tam, Tuluk and Brighild are going to run into the darkness into the room if you don't follow them.
They're going to run into the room with the rattling of the snake bones.
Well, they're heading that way, and they won't have any light if you don't go with them. Is what I'm saying.
Yeah, I would head that way.
Right. And what also probably is relevant. What was Brighild yelling?
Brighild first would yell towards Sorka and go, "Use your dagger of light. It is magical. Maybe it will bring you some light there." And then she's going to yell at Tulok as they move back to the room. And she sees he's getting his bow ready. She's going to say, "Put up the bow. It is not going to help you. You need to take out your magical sword. These are going to be creatures that magic will affect." And she's going to draw that scimitar that she has and head to that room.
Nice. Excellent. Very smart. Yeah, that also would have helped. Good. Well, lots of good ideas. So yeah, that's cool. Now they're gonna go. So Sorka, you're just gonna try to bite you again and through your pack. Oh, that's gonna hit you. What's your armor class? That might hit you actually, but it's gonna be close. This snake is not very good at biting through your pack. What's your AC, Sorka?
oh, I'm sorry. My AC is currently. Where is it at on the sheet? I have a padded or studded leather.
So it'd be
6.
yeah, then whatever you're
Yeah, you won't get a defense bonus because it's literally inside your pack. So it'll just be straight up
Okay.
whatever your armor class is. But still, 6 is 6, right? Yeah. Let's see. It would be animation thing here. Okay. So it rolled that, so it hits armor class 5. Does that hit you then? Even with defense
Yes.
adjustment, right? Okay. All right. So yeah, you
Mhm.
get bit. Although I guess luckily for you, being that the python doesn't have its body, it can't wrap itself around you. So that was very, very effective. I like this. I like this move. Man, okay, this is good. So it's just doing a D4. That's good. Very good. 2 points. This time you failed. The first time you might have been like, "What's that?" But now you can definitely tell that the thing in your back just jammed into you. Also, out of those mouths come 5 shadowy figures, and they're actually going to target. Actually, Crystal and Mike both roll a d6. Whoever gets the lowest will get attacked 3 times, and the other will get attacked twice.
Rolled a 5.
Okay, so going after Mr. Head Worshipper. They clearly don't care. The gods don't care about you.
Yes. My
I
gods
tried.
don't care.
To warn you.
You shouldn't have woke him up.
Okay. Yeah. All right. So they are there. Okay. So let's see. That's okay. What's your AC, Mike?
Well, normally 6, but since I'm prostrate and crawling backwards, probably an 8.
Okay. All right, and yours is 6, Crystal.
Yes.
Okay, so then you 11, you 2, and 9 to 8. Okay, so you get it once, you get it twice, you get it 3 times. Okay, and then let's against Crystal's character. Missed and hit. Okay, so these guys, oh, they do actually do real damage too. Okay. So you hit 3 times for 5 points of damage. But then in addition to that, you're gonna temporarily, so just keep track of it, drop your strength by 3 points.
Okay.
Yeah, it lasts for a while, but I'll keep it lasts long enough that it won't matter in this combat. I mean, it'll come back eventually, but
Right.
it's not during this combat. It's not gonna come back. Yeah, they're kind of like it's eerily quiet as they fly out of these mouths, and then the desiccated bodies actually drop back down again. And now these like shadowy things are whipping around the room. Yeah. All right, so that's everybody. You guys, I'll say with your full movement, considering. I'm sorry, I asked you, Nikki, and I don't know if you answered me or if I just forgot. Are you going with Penesta?
With
Is Penesta
Brighild
going-
and two, I was. She's not. Yeah, she'll follow. Now you got me doing it. Tulak and Brighild for now.
Okay, all right.
He hears the rattling probably at this point. So.
Yes, you guys are charging towards that room with the snake, which is probably a good idea to confront it on its own turf. All right, so let's go into the next round. So, Penesta, you're charging behind Brighild and Tulak, who are heading towards the exit, as it would be. What would you like to do?
Well, I'm moving now, but I'd also like to cast a spell when I can.
That's fine. I mean, yeah, you'll have to stop to cast a spell. Obviously. Tam, what's your plan? You're being browbeaten or back of the head beaten by these shadowy women.
Yes, I'm trying to get out of the room. Can I?
Okay.
Can I make it to the crevice?
Oh yeah, you can definitely You can run. How about Sorka?
Sorka's also going to try and get out of the room.
Nice. Brickhild?
She's still moving to the snake room, to see what she can see once they get there.
Okay, perfect. Tulip?
Tulak is following Brighild, but as soon as he sees the creature, he's going to let the missile fire, and then after that, he's going to draw his two-handed magical scimitar, based on
Okay.
whether if that does any damage.
All right, right. So you're in ready shooter mode. Good. Coolio, you can do that. All right, let's roll initiative. I forget who was rolling it. Tam was, I think, right?
Yep.
Oh, they got 2 again. Huh, that's the second time in a row. You just roll 3?
Yes, sorry.
Okay, good. No, it's fine. I
didn't-
yeah. I
I didn't
see it
realize
appear
I was
'cause
muted.
No, it's good. Okay, yeah, you guys go first. All right, so I mean, all right, melee would happen first. Nobody's meleeing. You're all just so I guess magic, and then everybody's moving. So Vanessa.
Yeah, I'm going to hold the torch in one hand, take my empty hilt out with my other hand, and I'm gonna summon the flame blade.
Oh, nice.
Yep.
Okay. All right, then everybody's charging in their respective directions. You definitely can make it out that crevice, guys. You're both faster than the shadows, so you can make yeah. So they start to follow you, but they're not moving very quickly. And Brighild and Tulak, you will in fact make it to the snake room at the end of this turn, so you can actually ready shooter there. Tulak, if you want this thing, and you do in fact see a giant skeleton snake. Yeah, and it's like it looks pissed off that it doesn't have any teeth.
Okay.
So go ahead and shoot it.
All right. It's 2 shots simultaneously. I don't know whether that did it or not. Yeah.
That's a critical.
Yeah, that's a critical hit.
Yep.
Damages 4 for one of them. The other arrow does 1d6 plus 2. 4. So 8 points of damage.
Yeah, you see the arrow strike hard into this the skeleton of this the skull of the snake, and the shafts just shatter. It doesn't even
Gotcha.
seem to leave a mark on it.
Gotcha.
As we come into this next round.
Okay, so
So-
as he's told, he drops the bow and pulls out that magical scimitar.
Okay, you do that. You'll end up fighting on phase 2. Then you'll have to draw your weapon.
Yep.
Panesta, what's your plan this round? You see this giant snake as you run up behind your friends.
Yeah, I'm going to try to use the fire on it. The flame blade
Nice.
melee. Yep.
I mean, it seemed obvious, but I didn't want to assume that you were going to do that. Tam, what's your plan? The shadows are chasing you up the hallway.
I am running up the hallway shouting, "You do not disturb the gods,"
Okay.
as I run into the snake room.
Nice. Sorka, what's your plan? Shadows are chasing you.
Is she also going to make it to the snake room this turn?
If all you do is run, you'll make it there this turn, yes.
That's what she's doing then.
You'll basically get there at the end of the round. Brighild.
Yeah, question first. We would be
Yep.
able to hear Tam and Sorka. Can we hear them coming that way?
Yeah, you'd hear
Where
them
at?
yelling. Yeah, as they're running. Yep.
Yeah, once she can hear that they're somewhat safe coming their way to escape, she's going to have the scimitar, but she's going to yell at Panesta and Tulak and go, "We need to continue to exit this place if we can." And she's going to move towards the way they came from, but also if she needs to melee this time, probably on
Okay.
the second phase or whatever it had to be.
Yeah, I mean, you could strike at it. Like you could run, and I guess try to hack at it as you run past it if you want to do that, or you could just run past it. I mean, it's fine. So you can definitely melee and still still keep moving, almost like a reverse charge or a drive by or a run by, whatever you want to call it. All right, let's roll initiative. Mike. Okay, that's the third 2 I've rolled in a row. That's so weird. Does this die only roll 2s? Nope, it rolls 3 that time. All right, yeah, you guys go first. So Melee happens first. So Panesta, I'm just going to do you guys in the order I have you here. Are you standing and fighting the snake, or are you doing like Breakhill, swinging the sword and running past it?
No, I think she was planning on standing, so
Okay.
yeah, I didn't say I was running.
Yeah.
So that would be, I have my character sheet here. +2 is 16, armor class 0.
Oh yeah, that hits.
Okay. Or 6 points of damage, fired with the flame blade.
Oh, nice. Okay.
Is he
All right.
undead?
Yes,
Would
he
that be
is.
considered? Yeah, so I get an additional +2, so 8 points damage.
Nice.
Yeah, 1d8 plus
This is
4.
definitely one. This is definitely
Good.
undead. Okay, good. Brighild. I'm sorry, Yeah, Brighild. That's that right.
Yeah,
Make
as
sure.
I'm running past, I'll take a swing at it. Is
Yeah,
there
go
any
for it.
modifiers or not?
No, because you get since you won initiative anyways, you'll get both of your phases before it goes.
Oh, that's not going to be too good, I don't think. Let me see. Nope. Armor class 5, maybe?
That hits actually.
Oh, wow. It'll do 5 damage in with the
Oh, nice.
+1 scimitar.
Yeah, that definitely hurts it. Smashes into it. It actually takes a piece of the skull actually comes off a little bit. Tulok.
Tulok attacks with the two-handed scimitar. Because he's dropped that bow, he's not going to run. So here we go. Oh boy, with the
I love when it says
like
armor
that.
class 11 because I'm always like, what? And they're like, oh yeah, that means it's a bad miss. at least it's not a critical miss. Yeah, you're used
swing
to
and a miss.
you're used to it being so light with the bow. It's you swing that giant scimitar and miss. Okay, and then the other characters kind of charge in at the end of this round, and by then the snake's going to get to go. It'll actually get to go before anybody leaves the room. So actually, before they arrive. So there's 3 of you in the room currently. Brickhill's kind of on the other side of the room, but it could still try to target you. So I will roll first. I'll go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So second person is going to go after. Brighill, you ran past it. It's going to try to. It turns its back to the others and tries to bite you as you run past. Probably not doing anything though with the.
I'm AC 4.
Let's see. No, that only hits armor class 8, so that misses by a mile. It tries to bite you, and it's like it's gumming at you because it doesn't have any teeth. Sorkin took its teeth off. So good. All right, and the round ends as Sorka and Tam, you guys run into the room and you see your comrades doing battle with a giant skeleton snake. But you do know that following pretty close behind you are multiple shadows. Well, you can't see them anymore because you ran into the darkness. So, yeah, I'm saying there's darkness behind you, I should say.
Mm-hmm.
But you knew they were following you last time you saw. So that's where the round ends. So, Panesta, what do you want to do this round?
I'm gonna take another swing at the snake.
All right. Tam, what's your plan? Giant snake in front of you, shadows behind you.
Still running,
Okay.
screaming,
So,
"You do not disturb the gods."
Sorka.
Sorka's gonna cast a spell.
Okay. Burkill, making your way to the door, or are you gonna stay?
Yeah, I mean, will I get to the door in the next room in this round?
Yeah. You actually were able to move at the second phase. So you're actually technically out of the room. Like you're through the.
Yeah,
You're through
she'll
the room on the
continue
other
that
side.
way, and just yell at Panesta and Tam or the rest of them to keep, let's go, keep running.
Okay. Juluk.
Tulok is going to attack two-handed scimitar.
Okay. And let's roll initiative, Mike. Ooh, 5 that time.
6.
Good. Yeah. All
The
right,
gods
nice.
are with me.
The gods are with you. All right. That's good. Okay, so Malay goes first. Panesta, giant snake in front of you.
Giant snake. This time I'm gonna stab and run. Run in the second.
Okay.
Yeah. But I take the flame blade. Roll a 16 again. So armor class
Hits.
0. Yep. 14 plus 2. And a D8 plus 4 would be 11 points of damage.
Whoa! All right. Yeah, you cut this thing in like part of its skull. You can see like it's separated and almost coming apart. You're running. Tuluk. Nope, getting better, but no. Well, that's weird. Why is oh I see. Oh my god, and you rolled like minimal damage. You are not good with this scimitar. We're gonna need to get you trained. You miss. Okay, spells.
Are there any weeds around?
No.
Any weeds or okay? All right. Well then, Sorka sees that that Tulok is having a hard time hitting this thing, so she decides to make it easier for him and cast Fairy Fire on the giant snake.
Okay. Nice. It lights up. That doesn't have any effect on undead, right? It just does what it does.
Yeah, it just lowers the AC by 1.
Okay. Okay. And then people that were moving on that phase. So Tam, you could run through the room. Which means that you're actually not eligible to be attacked, as the snake is going to take its turn to attack. Nesta, Sorka, or Tuluk. So there's 3 of you. Oh, Tuluk. It does not like you throwing that giant scimitar towards it, even though you haven't hit it. So it tries to bite at you with its it's trying to gum you. It misses. It cannot. It has no teeth. It's like, what to do? And that's the first phase, and then the second phase, Vanessa was going to run, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So you're running, and the shadows enter the room, but they won't be able to attack. So, yeah, you see these in the fairy fire. You see these shadows come into the room.
Yeah.
As Vanessa's running, she's like,
Yep.
yeah. So, just as a recap here, currently, Brighild's almost at the entrance. Vanessa just ran through the room. The snake is glowing. It looks pretty hurt. But Tam's also run through as well, right? So you're with Vanessa basically. Just at the other side of the room, having just run through. So standing in the room are only Sorka and Tuluk, and you just see 5 shadows enter this room. So, what's everybody doing? Penesta.
I'll continue to try to get to the entrance.
Okay. How about Tam?
I am still running and crying.
Sorka.
Sorka's gonna follow the rest of the party lead and try and get to the entrance as well.
All right, you're gonna run through the room. Brighild, I'm assuming you're still running.
Yeah, she's everybody makes their own fate. She's running to the outside.
Yeah. Tuluk, what's going on?
Tuluk grabs his bow and he's hightailing out of there.
All right, good. All right, so everybody's making a run for it. All right, so this initiative is very important now, Mike. You've won initiative every time. This is the time you really want to win it.
Yeah, don't jinx it.
I rolled a 1 though, so you're good.
5.
All right, yeah, you gotta get the first. All right, good. So, yeah, I mean, first phase, everybody will be able to run out of the room. The snake's too big to follow you, and the shadows are too slow. So, assuming everybody's going to keep running, you will actually run out into the setting sun of Hyperborea, and you even see, as you run out, probably out of that circle. I'm assuming out of the semicircle because experienced adventurers, and you would not do that. You actually see that the shadows of the women like rocketing out of the cave, and then as soon as the sun hits them, they go back into the darkness. And you're standing there, and Tam wipes the dirt from his forehead, and you see that you got a big cut there, and it seems to be in the shape of a long, thin dagger.
Ah.
Brighild looks towards Tam and just goes, I don't believe the gods wanted to be awoken.
I don't think those were gods.
Because that's okay. I believe him.
Yeah, one angry woman is difficult enough to handle, but 5 of them? It was a good idea for you to run, Brighild.
Yeah, they
Oh,
were not
yes.
happy.
You don't want to deal with angry women, Tulak.
Yeah,
We should
and
get off this angry mountain.
Mhm.
yeah, and Tulak looks around and he realizes that he's surrounded by women, except for Tam.
Right. Nice.
That's not
So, yeah,
emasculating at all.
Mhm.
you start to move to off the rocky side of the volcano, realizing that it's probably a good time to set up camp, just as you go to jungle, tree lines, and shelter. And this is probably also a good time for us to take a break. So let's take a few minutes, and
Okay.
we'll pick back up on the next morning. Okay, we're back. And you guys, after having had a little interaction there in that volcano cave, meeting of the gods, as it might have been, you make your way back towards the relative safety of the jungle where there's only dinosaurs that can kill you, and set up your camp for the night. So let's see if anything interesting happens. We rolled last time. I think Crystal rolled, right? So
Yes. Let me read
I
prepare my
lost
spells real
my
quick.
map. Okay. So let's do this. Go ahead, Tony, and roll to see if you encounter anything interesting tonight as you're all camped up.
That is a 2.
All right. Yeah. No. Quiet night. The same. I think at this point, you guys, any of the, the more, we'll say, less aggressive of the species, you kind of understand what they are, so you're able to kind of make your peace with them without having any trouble. So the night passes, you see animals, but nothing that seems to want to bother your camp. You're near a water source, so obviously there's going to be animals coming and going, but pretty safe as the night goes past. And you've got like one more day of hard travel up the mountain to get to this Zoan monastery, assuming that's where you're still going. So you get up as the sun breaks the horizon, and start moving towards
So
there.
Tam, what's your feeling on what just happened not too long ago?
Well, that we shouldn't bother the gods.
Yeah, I think
I mean-
that's wise.
Yeah, there's no more volcanoes, I don't think. This is their place. They can have them.
I agree. He speaks as he chews on one of those dinosaur flesh.
The next morning, AT, you can also have a good berry for eating have a full meal.
I love it. Everybody wants to eat like
Awesome.
the fresh fish and the dinosaur meat that they're catching, or whatever, and they like get an all beautiful meal in front of them. And she's like, "No, eat this."
I mean, you could. I'm just saying, like the good berry will sustain you for a day. Like you could eat the meal or whatever, and then also have
Yeah,
Is that gonna
be
Tulok's catching fish and small game and bringing them for breakfast roast, I guess.
Yeah, I'm all for the fish. Does the Goodberry do any healing?
does 1 HP. Yeah.
1 HP?
Yeah, and also since everybody rested overnight, anybody that was hurt, which I think was only you, so
Yeah.
you can roll back your hit dice. So half your level and hit dice.
I'll also do a cure light wounds on you that night. 2 points.
Is he still looking like his energy's been drained, his strength, that next morning?
No, after a few hours, you feel it seems better. Yeah, probably with a good night's rest between having some fresh fish. He's like, "Oh, thanks for the good in my pocket." And resting, he's doing all right.
Yes.
I just imagine it's like somebody, you're like ready to have a meal and they hand you like one of those meal replacement bars, like a power bar or something. It's like, "Oh, I can have this steak here. Oh no, have this bar. It's good for you."
Yeah.
It's a Lara bar. Oh no. It's like the D&D equivalent of a Lara bar.
There you go.
Oh.
So,
Anyways,
so after this healing, do I still have the cool scar of the
Yes, you
dagger
do.
on my forehead?
Yeah, you
Yes.
do, actually.
Sorka will just eat her good berry so that she doesn't have to disturb the delicate nature balance of nature.
You can carry that scar with you, Tam, and share the sagas to many people of what and how you obtained it.
Yeah, I mean, the gods, I'm touched by the gods. They touched me. Yeah, clearly.
Clearly.
Wow.
What?
Speaking of that, Vanesta and Sorka, I believe, make a sorcery saving throws.
Okay. Save here.
The sorcery, I get a +2. Total of 16.
15, so that just makes it for me.
People made it? Okay.
Yep.
I'm assuming 16 makes it as well.
Mhm.
Awesome. Cool. Good. That's what we like to hear. So yeah, it's a beautiful morning. As you, it's going to be about 95 degrees, partly cloudy, moderate breeze coming through. So it's sweaty and hot and breezy as you're kind of walking along the river. You haven't seen anybody in a few days at this point, since before the volcano. And as you kind of round some large cliffs, you kind of look up to, you follow, and you can see the path that's going to go up the mountain, and you see cut into the side of it the monastery. It's a relatively large building. Looks like it's cut into the side of the mountain, into the stone of the mountain, as it would be. And there's a very well trod path, fairly narrow, but not so narrow that you have to worry about falling off. That winds back and forth up the side of the mountain that leads directly to this monastery, and you can kind of see it about halfway through the day. You see it up there, so you can start walking in that general direction. From my description of my monastery, that of course I moved the page as soon as I needed it, as always the case. But essentially, it is very, very large, very, very ancient. It stands out from the mountain because the mountain is, it's got lots of green and stuff like that. It's got a lot of plant life and stone. But the monastery itself is actually, while it does look like it was cut from the mountain, it's very strange because it looks like it's made out of a very, very clean white rock. Almost like a limestone kind of rock, but that wouldn't make sense for where it is. So it really sticks out. Like the sun hits it, and you just see this white, shining building kind of sticking out of the side of the mountain. It is as you approach closer, you realize, or you see, that what you saw, that block that you were looking at, was actually a wall around it. At times you're kind of getting up almost at height with it. You could see that inside this relatively large space, considering it's on the side of a mountain, it's about 300 or 400 yards. This is basically a thick white wall of some kind of stone that was built, and then inside there's a courtyard, which houses 3 pyramid structures. They are painted in gold. In front of them, so you got the 3 of them. There's one, and then there's 2 like this. So in the middle of these 2, but kind of in front of the main one, there's a courtyard, and where the martial trading and stuff happens. As you approach the gate to get in, it's a very large gate area. There's 2 men on guard. They are dressed as monks, like you've seen before. They bear no arms, and they are just standing there, just kind of waiting till you get close enough, and then they address you, and of course Lemurian, and they say, "Good day. You've made the pilgrimage to the monastery. Is this for reasons of the mind or the soul?"
Mind, I would say. And I look towards the group.
Sorka nods.
Okay. Well, they say, "Excellent. Our vast libraries are open to all who seek knowledge. Come, I will summon the Grand Master of Flowers." And the guy's talking to you, turns and walks in, and the other guy stands at the gate still.
I would follow the guy if we can.
Yeah, there's nothing stopping you. You go in. It's near the end of the day at this point, so there's not too many people around. He kind of walks about maybe 20, 30 feet in, and you actually see hanging there. Well, you probably, I guess, a bard would know what a gong is. You see a gong there. Might be not that common of a thing, but and he walks up to it and he hits it. With a certain pattern. He hits it like 3 or 4 times. And then he puts the mallet down. And then he turns to you and he says, would you like to bathe yourselves and have some refreshing water before you meet the Grand Master of Flowers?
Tam's all for it.
Yeah, Anistus says, yeah, we just
Yeah.
He hears bath. That's fine. I'll do it. We'll bathe.
Okay. He nods, and then he, as if like he knew what you were going to say, you see kind of coming out of these like little side buildings, some monks that have with them some like linens and buckets, and he nods, and then he walks like forward, and they follow him, and I'm assuming you follow them, and you kind of go off to the side where there's like a large area set up, which they begin to pour the water into these like wooden tubs. There's 2 of them. Then they're divided by a screen.
go ahead, Sorka and Tam. You guys can.
So, well, no, you should go before me.
I
Okay.
mean, you're the one that speaks for us typically, Pinesta. So I think it would be more important that you get cleaned up.
I will be more than happy to take a bath. Just
Well, after Tam dirties the water, they're gonna change the water out, right?
Spoken like a true Camarian.
I will bathe.
Yeah, no.
Yeah,
Okay,
Tam
yeah,
will wait
I mean,
off
that's
to the side.
Yeah, I mean, there's 2 of them. There's 2 tubs, and they're basically marked up, and they pour the water in, and then they kind of put the buckets down, and they turn, and they walk away. And you also see that there's a small table that's been set up with a large jug and some clay cups for the water or whatever. And the guy that was guarding you, or guarding the gate, I should say, it lets you in. He's still there, but all the other monks kind of walk away. I mean, they're not staring at you when you're washing. Obviously, that's blocked off.
Okay, yeah, I will just bathe and
Yeah.
dry off and go back to the group.
Yeah, I mean, whoever would like to bathe, is more than welcome to. And like I said, there's water and refreshments. After a little bit of time goes by, and he sees that you're done, he steps back up to address the group. And he says, it is a long journey to this mountain. I hope that the knowledge you seek will fulfill you.
Well, there's not enough time in the world to get enough knowledge, I think, to be completely fulfilled. But I'm hoping you can aid us. Yes.
That is wise. He turns, walks away, kind of leading you, basically. And you'll enter into that like a pyramid structure. He's going to walk you into the pyramid, the one in the center. It reminds you a lot of the pyramid you were in before, except the main difference that you would notice is a few things. It doesn't have the door with the key lock that you saw before. It has doors, but they just open normally. And while there are relief scenes on the wall, they're not snake men like they were in the other ones, but they're more just of Yig, like they're the celestial serpent Bothra. So it's like basically Botsu. Yeah, so basically there's like giant serpents and stuff with men, but there's no snake men. There's men with serpents, basically. And you enter in and you go basically through a chamber, and they've got but it looks almost identical in layout to the one that you saw before. You come into that large room that has the giant statue of Yig, same thing except it's both suit. And also there's no hole in the floor in this one. But there is like a man standing there. He is dressed simply, not elaborate robes or anything. He's dressed like every other monk that you've seen so far. You can see by his face, the lines in his face and stuff that he's quite old, though he is completely shaven, so he doesn't have white hair or anything. You can't see it. As you walk in, he looks up and he says, we do not receive many visitors. I have heard that you have come for knowledge.
That is correct. I'm not sure how to refer to you. Honored one? Master?
I am no different than you. I am just a man.
What can I call you then? What may I call you?
My name is Zoo.
Okay. Zoo.
And how may I address you?
I am Pinesta.
Nesta. And he turns and looks at let's see who's Tam.
Tamtenyi.
He looks at Sorka.
Darka, show the bow, curtsy.
Okay, he looks at Brighild.
My name given is Brighild.
Okay, Brighild. And he looked at Tulog.
My name's Tulog from the plane of Lang.
Oh, the plane of light. Yay. Did you come here for the weather? And he seemed to have a smile.
I did not. I'm suffering quite badly for it.
Well, it is late in the day. Perhaps you will take our hospitality and stay the night and begin your research in the morning. I assume you want to see the library?
I would love to see the library, but I actually did have a question about a possible imposter priest or monk.
Kind of narrows his eyes a little bit.
We encountered a man who claimed to be a Zoan monk, but none of the monks on pilgrimage or working in Jamanket had ever heard of him. His name was Clang. He referred to himself as Clang, and claimed to be a Zoan monk, but was involved with some very dark matters at a different temple on the Isle of the Serpent.
See. Kind of looks down for a second, like he's not thought of it. And he looks up. He says, "I know this man. It is true. He was part of our order until 7 years ago. We asked him to, and you should know, this does not come lightly, but we exiled him.
That does sound not harsh, but it sounds like an extraordinary measure. I'm assuming that doesn't happen very often, you said.
This
Yeah, I
is the
asked
only.
what was his crime.
This was the only exile in memory. We seek perfection in body and mind. We seek knowledge. We seek to become one with the celestial serpent. But that is to have spiritual fulfillment, not political or physical power in the world. Clang had different ideas. It is less. In fact, it all began in the library. Maybe knowledge is something that not everyone is ready for. He learned of stories and ways that the secrets of Yig and Badzu could be known. But what we do know of Yig is one should never make a deal, for the power that Yig gives is not meant for men. The final draw was he made a pilgrimage to a local burial ground and we believe stole and a holy relic, which he believed would allow him to bring forth an avatar of Yig that he could then draw power from. We were not able to cover the relic. Could be he didn't even have it. But we are forbidden to enter these tombs, such as he raided, so we cannot tell whether the object was removed or not.
Well, at this other temple, he was referred to, or at least something, I think it was him, was referred to as the Avatar of Yig, or at least he could speak with the Avatar of Yig. Spoke to him. It's what we were told.
So he
It's
did.
possible.
So he did what he sought out to do. Well, no good can come from this.
No, I agree. And I'm worried about what, even with him, I don't know if you've heard, he's dead. Now, Clang is dead. But the Temple of Yig that he was leading is still very much in business on the Isle of the Serpent.
Well, I mean, there's nothing wrong with the Temple of Yig.
Yes,
perhaps he was only a charlatan and was not speaking with the Avatar. Did you see the Avatar?
We didn't see the Avatar, but one of our party was killed by a snake man, an actual snake man.
Snake man. You sure?
I'm sure. And she smells a little bit. I know a snake man when I see one.
I saw the creature with my own eyes.
Yep.
It
Dorka,
devoured one of my friend, Lachlan.
Circle will pull out her journal and she'll open up to the entry where she wrote about the snake men, and she will show an image of it.
Well, should the snake man return, the world will have gone full circle. That's not necessarily a bad thing, is it? Is it for us to judge? I will need to meditate on this. Please, stay the night.
Before he
oh, go ahead, Tony.
I was just going to say, before he dismisses us, I was going to go because I can't really understand what he's saying. Brigil can't, so she's going to go to Sorka and say, show him the drawing of the what we found in that cave. This man seems to be knowledgeable. Maybe he will know something about it.
Yeah. Sorka will open up and she will show the drawings, and she'll say, we found these in a cave. There seemed to be a temple of some kind. There was a large snake that was dead on the ground. Very ancient.
Yes. Well, this ceremony, and he kind of points to the drawing of the women with the knives, seems to be, if I remember right, this is... Let me see how much he knows. Oh, okay. This was some kind of a warding ritual back in the days before we Liberians were enlightened. We tried to use sorcery to protect ourselves from the snake men and their ways. This type of ceremony was meant to prevent these types of giant snakes from roaming free on the land and murdering, killing.
Sorka will nod and she'll say, then perhaps these will mean more to your people than they'll mean to us. And she's going to hand him those sackcloths, the sackcloth that have those fangs in it.
Oh, yeah. If you hand him that, he looks at it, he says, oh, you must remove this from these grounds immediately.
Okay. I'll do it. I'll remove them from the grounds.
Huh. Kind of rubs his head. Says, when Sorka leaves to, well, is she leaving right now immediately, or is she gonna, like you just said, or is she gonna wait till everybody else is?
I mean, if he seems like this is very important, that this is a grave insult or something, then yes, she will immediately leave and remove these from the ground.
All right. He'll say then to the rest of the party, he'll say, did you take any other items from the site? This could let loose spirits that were left there to guard. Could anger them.
Ricky looks towards Tam, knowing that he was the one that went the deepest in to make sure he didn't sneak something out.
Yeah, he just looks at you and kind of shrugs.
The only thing that I believe that was taken were some rocks from the volcano.
Oh no, it would need to be part of the ceremony to be a problem. I mean, it is an ancient ceremony, and perhaps I'm overreacting. A snake like the snake big enough to have those types of fangs, we would not want running loose, especially if what you say is true and there are snake men about.
I assure you, there are snake men about.
Zoo, well, Master Zoo, speaking of snakes and sacrifices, we hear that the Isle of Serpent, the enclave over there, they seem to be sacrificing people. The pirates have been capturing people and bringing them in to offer as sacrifice to Yig. Is this a practice out here as well?
Human sacrifice is not practiced by civilized tribes. I've heard of some doing that to occasionally for prisoners or people in extreme situations volunteering. They've had bad crops and these types of things, but no, it's not something that would be normal.
Would it be
Especially if they're taking people without through piracy.
would it be an affront to your temple and your worship?
No, we are not priests. I cannot say. It is not something that we would practice. No. Only Yid can determine whether or not the sacrifices given to them are appropriate.
He nods.
I don't know if they're continuing to do that with Clang gone, but if there are snake men, it's possible. We don't know.
This Clang. Let's know if he found. Perhaps you could do something for me.
What do you ask?
If you could enter into the tomb which Clang desecrated to see if he indeed did take the artifact, that would tell us more about what may or may not be happening.
What is this artifact that you seek? What does it look like?
It is a headpiece, a crown. It's gold and platinum circlet with black silk and topped with platinum feathers that fan round.
I see. So it is a feathered crown of some
Yep.
sort?
That's what he's saying.
Feathered crown. That is a good name. I like that. Yes, it's a feathered crown.
Kulak nods deeply and then looks at Sorka and Panesta and Brighild and Tam and goes, uh-huh.
Were you asking Panesta where this location is supposed to be that monk went into?
Yes, where is the tomb located? Is it far from here or is it on the grounds? You said it was local, so I'm assuming it's not far.
Yeah, it's he tells you that it is I just want to make sure that okay, so there are hills to the west, just as the mountain ends, and it is there. He could basically tell you how to get there. It's not very far away. It's about half because you're on a mountain, so you're going slow. So it's maybe like, 4 hours, maybe 3 or 4 hours journey max if you're taking your time.
Okay. Is it a large tomb? Are there many graves to check, or is it one tomb that belongs to one person?
No, it is a single tomb. It is a fairly large building, but there is only one body there. It is the body of a young girl named uh, named C,
See.
and it is said that she was able to wear the crown and speak to the gods. So when he died very young, they buried the crown with her.
All right. Speak to the gods.
Are we the first ones to be sent? Or has there been others?
Well, as far as I know, the only person that's entered this tomb is Clang, and that was 7 years ago, maybe a little longer. We have not sent anyone. I wouldn't send somebody to the tomb if it wasn't vitally important. There should be, in front of the sarcophagus, 7 pillars, small pillars, each topped with uh, an artifact, one of which is the crown. If the crown is there, we know then Clang was simply a charlatan, convincing these islanders to commit atrocities for his own whims. The crown is missing. Could be that he has brought forth the avatar of Yig. And if that avatar is controlled or by snake men, I do not hold the future in well, let's just say that it's not our place to know or judge, but only to be.
Well, I personally, I don't speak for us all, but I would be willing to check and see if this crown was indeed stolen. What about the rest of you?
I'm with you, Panesta.
Well, I'll check.
What is he wanting us to do, Panesta? I'm trying to understand, but does he want us to bring the crown back to him if we find it, or just leave it there?
I believe that he would want us to leave it there, but I would check. That is what he wants us to do, yes.
Yeah, no, he would. It should be there. He would want it to be there.
Yeah.
And for the tomb to be resealed. They're not allowed to go anywhere near it, so he can't even reseal it. So best case scenario would be the ground's there, and he just seal the place back up, and then whatever's going
Right.
on over there isn't what he think what's been professed. If the crown's missing, that means that the Clang may have taken it and raised this avatar, which is a
Well,
powerful weapon.
he has offered us food and drink and hospitality of rest. I do not see why we are not fairly close to that location. I see why we should not go. I think it would be best.
Yeah, we could just go see.
Yes,
And if
there's no
it's
harm in finding out.
no.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, as Brighild mentioned, it is getting near the end of the day, and by now I'm sure Sorka's back. They walked you to the front and you got rid of threw them in the trash, whatever. Just took them off the grounds anywhere off the grounds would have been fine. And he says, he tells you that there's rooms and such if you want to rest and retire. And of course they feed you, and it's not a good berry; it's like actual meal. And of course, you're free to use the libraries and such.
Okay. Right.
So yeah. Any other questions for him before he retires?
I don't think so, unless someone else has one.
Nope, not for him.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah, he'll leave you. They'll basically get you, like, they move you to like an area where there's some rooms that are, you guys can each have like a room, but they're connected together or close together, so you can be in communication with each other. And they basically leave you, and there's food and drink in there, and beds. I mean, it's nighttime almost, so he's basically set up for the evening. But if you want to meet together and converse or whatever, they're not stopping you. They basically give you your privacy. And he does tell you that when the sun rises, they do their morning prayers and exercises, and then he will meet with you all to, if you want to go to the library first, or if you're going to go however you want to do it.
Ricky
I mean,
would want to know if the books in the library are probably all written in Lemurian or whatever.
Yeah, I mean, if
Most
you
of them?
ask it, if Prenesta asks, no, they're not. They're collected from all over the world, so a lot of them are, but there's books from all over. Yeah, so you've got them in all different languages and stuff.
Yeah, Bricky would definitely want to suggest they go to the library to see if they can find any more information about this cave they found. With the
Okay.
women in the circle and all that, and they see if they do their own research into it.
Oh,
yeah,
yeah.
for sure.
I would definitely agree to go to the library.
Yeah, he was just going off his, and you don't have to like go right away to. I mean, obviously, he wants you to go save the crown, and maybe you're anxious to go, but it's been 7 years since the thing's been open, so you're not in a rush. If you want to do research first, that's more than fine. This might actually be a good place to end it though, right now for tonight, because then we can start the next. I don't think there's enough time to fully go and do that temple part before the session ends, so let's leave it here. Unless there's any final scene you guys want to do before we wrap up. But that way, if you think of things, you can always do them right before you go, right?
The only thought I had, I guess, is that Sorka like took those things off of the property and like buried them under a tree, and the good berries that she knew was going to spoil that day, she dug a couple extra holes and she like put 3 or 4 in each hole, pat them down so that they'll grow new bushes, and she says to them as she pats them down, go comment, like, subscribe, ring the notification bell so that you will see future videos.
Excellent. Those are wise words from Sorka. All right, we'll end it there.